Hi everybody, good evening. This is Michelle with Creative Operation and Country Craft Creations. And tonight what we're going to do is create this box with the base and the lid. This is going to be a two-part tutorial for my Graphic 45 Grow with Love collection that I got for my design team package for March. And I'm doing it in two parts because it is kind of a big project. There's going to be a lot of stuff that goes on the inside. So I thought tonight what we're going to do is make the base of the box and put the pattern papers on and talk about all of that, get that all ready to go. And then we're going to come back, put all of the goodies on the inside of it, and then I will go to decorating it. But isn't this adorable? I love this collection. It is so springy and so awesome. I just love it. So we're making the base because I really wanted to use these feet. I just think standing up, as you saw in the picture, that looks so beautiful and elegant, and it's going to be beautiful with any paper collection you decide. But this paper collection, I mean, I'm telling you what, it's gorgeous. So then the explosion box will open up. This is a giant one. It's 15 by 15. So we're going to piece this together and it's going to be amazing. So we'll get started with the tutorial in just a second. We're going to make the base, we're going to make the lid, we're going to make this box, and then we'll come back for part two and do all the other goodies on the inside. So let's get going. We're going to get started with the project, and what we're going to do is create the base first. The base is going to be done first because we're going to attach these feet, and I want to make sure that it has time for the glue to set. I am going to use art glitter glue to attach these to it, and it worked perfectly with my prototypes. So don't worry about that. You can use hot glue if you choose to, but you don't need to. The art glitter glue works absolutely perfect. So the base, or the stand for this explosion box, we will need some cardstock. You will need two pieces that are 7.5 by 7.5 and one piece that is 3 3/8 by 5 5/8. And that's going to be kind of a support inside that box. And I'll show you how to put that together. It's going to be really awesome, but it will give a little bit more stability and a little bit of a place to kind of firm up, I guess, the box. You'll understand when I show it to you. And then the chipboard that we're going to need, I'm using lightweight chipboard. This is 2 at 4 7/8 by 4 7/8, and then 4 pieces that are 1 1/8 by 4 7/8. So that's the pieces that you need for your base. And then you need, of course, your feet. So these are the Graphic 45 feet. I did get these from Country Craft Creations. They are available and they're awesome. So we're going to use those. And then the papers, of course, are the Graphic 45 Grow with Love. And I've already got some pieces cut out to help decorate this particular base. So I've got my chipboard pieces prepared. I just used some score tape to prepare one side of those. So those are ready to go. And then we have our cardstock pieces. This is Artisan Black, and it is the 87 pound, not the 100 pound, although you could use the 100 pound if you wanted to. So we're going to put our 7.5 by 7.5 piece in our board, and we're going to score on all 4 sides at 1 1/4. Okay, all 4 sides, 1 1/4. And you're going to do that to both of these pieces. Okay, so both of them are scored exactly the same. They're going to be cut differently though, so watch for that. And then the inner kind of support piece that we're going to create is the cardstock that is 2 and right here, excuse me, 3 3/8 by 1 5/8. We're going to score at, on the 3 3/8, we're going to score at 1 1/8 and 2 1/4, and then turn it and have the 5 5/8 at the top. We're going to score at 1 1/8, 2 1/4, 3 3/8, and 4 1/2. Okay, so we're basically making just a really nice square pattern on this piece. Okay, so let's set that aside, and then I'm going to put this off to the side, and we're going to grab our pieces. So this first piece here, we're going to just take our scissors and we're going to cut out all 4 corners. We're going to cut them up straight up those score lines and just cut it straight. This is going to be the kind of top outside piece of our base, and it's going to cover the sides beautifully. So we're just cutting all of these pieces out straight up. Don't miter anything. I'm using these little scissors I got from Country Craft Creations, and they are amazing little cutting scissors, and they're very precise and very accurate. I just love these scissors. They're great for fussy cutting. All right, so one more piece. One more piece. Let's do one more piece. I've got to do all four. All right, straight up. And cut that piece out. And then put that to the side. We're going to take our second piece. And what we're going to do is we're going to create tabs on this. So we're going to cut straight up, and then we're going to create a tab, all right, on all four corners. And I'm just doing the pinwheel thing. Okay. Straight up, and then make your tabs all four sides. Okay, so that piece is cut. Then let's go ahead and fold and burnish, and we'll get this done, and then we will create everything else. So we're going to fold and burnish all of our score lines. I think that the use of the feet on this project really gives it an elegant look, and I just love it for this project. I just think that the feet are awesome, and I have wanted to try to figure out for a while how to do this particular kind of box with a base like this, and I think it turned out pretty cool. All right, so let's go ahead and fold and burnish all of the sides for this piece. Excuse me. Okay, so we're going to take this top piece and we're going to glue it to the bottom piece. Okay, so you're going to have the little tabs here, and the top piece is going to be on the top. So we're going to put the glue here and then glue that bottom piece right there. So I'm just going to take my glue. And I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to just make sure it's all nice and lined up and it's right to the edge of that score line. Burnish that down. Okay, and we'll burnish that down. Wipe up my extra glue. All right, so then what we can do right now is take your chipboard that we've already prepared with our score tape here, and I'm just going to take this off. Now you can use glue if you want, and you can use a full sheet of score tape if you want. I just decided to use this kind for now. And you're going to center that so there should be about a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. It should fit right inside those scores because I want to make sure that it folds nicely. So let's put that down. And like so. Okay, we'll go ahead and just give that a nice press and make sure that it's nice and adhered. Okay, and then you can grab your 4 pieces of your side chipboard pieces. Now these are going to go on the sides here, on the bottom piece. So we're going to go ahead and put that here, and then the one with the tab I'm calling the bottom piece. I'm going to put one here. Oops, I'm going to turn it so I can see it. And this is going to just give a little bit of support to this project and make the base nice and sturdy to hold the weight of our box and all of the fun things that we're going to put in it. Okay, so we're still working on the inside of our piece. All right, so this is just lightweight chipboard. Okay, again, make sure that's pressed down. Okay, then what we're going to do real quick is we're going to flip this over. Now this is the bottom of our box, and this is what is going to show. We're not going to put pattern paper on the top of this base for the box because it's going to be covered up. But the bottom of it, if you want, you can put down your pattern paper. So whichever side you want to do. I got, and I'm sure you've seen the walkthrough of my design team haul, I got some solids from this paper collection. So it has some beautiful 4 different colors with yellow, pink, green, and purple. And I love it. So I love the fact that we have this and we can use this for matting, which I'm going to be doing, and I'll show you that in just a second. So the bottom here, okay, this is where you put the chipboard. That's the bottom. That's what's going to show if you actually like pick it up and look at it. Then what we're going to do is put sides on the outsides here. So what I did was I took the purple solids, and then the pink had a pattern, a floral pattern on the back, and I used scraps from cutting the sides, and I went ahead and cut those. So I matted it with purple. The purple is 4 7/8 by 1 1/8, and then I cut the pink at 4 5/8 by 7/8. So that gave it a nice 1/8 inch border all the way around. So then, and you can see the back of that. Isn't that pretty? But I loved the solids, so you can do some matting on here. So I wanted to do that on the sides of this base. So I'm going to put that down on all 4 of these outside pieces. Okay, then we can put this together after we build the inner support piece. All right, so I'm going to lay that down. Got a little too much glue on that one, didn't I? That's okay. 1 more, or 2 more, I should say. Hope y'all are having a good night. It's evening time here, and I just made dinner, and then hubby went for his bowling night, so I thought I would take advantage of my time and start working on this tutorial. So we're going to call it part 1. I'm going to try to get the box base, the actual outside of the box, and the lid done tonight, and then give you time to create that, and then we'll come back for the second part of this tutorial and do all of the goodies that we're going to do inside, and we're going to do the decoration. Okay, so outside bottom is covered, and then the outside sides are covered. Okay, inside we've got our chipboard pieces on here. So then let's take this. Now this is going to basically, we're going to just roll it up basically and create a cube. So the first thing we're going to do is cut out straight up the 2 squares on the left hand side, up and down. Leave that center one there. And this is just how I figured it out. I mean, if you guys have a better way of doing it, then, you know, by all means. But I just wanted something that was going to kind of give it a little bit of stability. So then what I'm going to do is I'm keeping this square, but then I'm cutting basically miters in all of the rest of them, just so that they, when I roll this up, they will kind of fit inside of each other nicely. Okay, and then I'm going to miter this outside one. So when you get done, so far, this is what you have. Okay, so square, square, and then tab, tab, tab. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, just opposite. So we're going to keep the right square now that I've turned it. And then we're going to create a tab on all of the rest. And you don't have to go too crazy with the miters. I'm probably doing it a little bit more But you don't have to go too crazy. You just have to do a little bit so that, like I said, they fit inside of each other. Okay, let's get this out of the way, and then we're going to fold and burnish all of our little scores. Good gravy, that one just wants to stick around, doesn't it? All right. And the last one here. And this doesn't have to be like super beautiful either, because nobody's ever going to see this. So this is basically just going to fold up on itself, okay? And then the outside square pieces will glue down and hold everything together. And this is going to be a nice little sturdy piece. So what I ended up doing was I did put a little bit of glue on the tabs as I rolled it up, because not only will it help secure it, but it'll also, I think the art glitter glue, when it dries, gives things a little bit more stability too. So I've just put a little bit of glue, and I'm just gluing it up, and I'm just trying to, you don't have to, whoops, necessarily match the score lines. You just have to kind of make it square. Does that make sense? So once you roll that up, that's what you're going to get, okay? I hope that makes sense. Okay, so, and like I said, it does not have to be like super beautiful, okay? All right, and then here you have your outer pieces, so those are just going to glue down on this and kind of connect everything together. All right, like so. And that is going to give us a very nice kind of stable piece that we're going to pop into our box here, right in this smack dab in the center, so that when we close it and form the rest of it, it'll have a nice kind of extra piece that'll give it some stability in the middle, okay? So I hope that makes sense. I'm gluing it just so it doesn't slide around in here, all right? And it doesn't have to be perfect, like I said, it just has to be in the center somewhere, okay? That's gonna give that stability, okay? So not only will the chipboard help, that'll help too, okay? So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put these tabs, we're gonna glue these to the outside of, or excuse me, we're gonna glue those to the inside. That one we're gonna, okay, so here's where I goofed up, okay. I should have put this tab coming out the other side, but it's okay, it's gonna work just fine. We're gonna glue that to the inside. The rest of them, my plan was I was gonna glue them to the outside, because what happens is it covers up all the chipboard and it gets covered up with that. It's still going to work even though I goofed. It's gonna be just fine, okay? So we're going to grab our glue here. All right, and this one we're gonna do, because I've already covered it with pattern paper, we're just gonna glue that to the inside. I'm gonna line up my edges. Make sure that's nice and glued down, okay? And then the rest of them will go to the outside like I had planned, okay? So we're going to put glue on the tabs. And line that up. Try and make sure it's nice and square. Voila. We'll turn that around. Okay. One more. Okay, so I'm just matching those up, I'm gluing those down. And then this piece, we're going to just glue all of those sides down, and that's going to further reinforce everything and make a very nice base, okay? So this is where our box will sit, and that's the bottom of the box. So going to put glue on my tabs and just glue this down. You can put a little bit of extra glue around the chipboard if you want. And this is the base, so this is... I keep saying box, but this is the base for the box. All right, we'll put a little bit of glue on here, and we'll go ahead and close that up and glue those sides down like so. Okay, so we've just glued this box basically shut. Okay, isn't that pretty though? And it's very, very sturdy. I mean, this thing is solid. So this will withstand the weight of our box once we get it done, because it is pretty substantial. Okay, so then we need to glue the feet on. And we are literally going to, if I can get this right, just glue them like so. Okay, we're going to just put the glue like that. And then we're going to let them set and get nice and dried before we do anything else. So that's why I wanted to do this piece first. So I'm going to put my glue here, and art glitter glue does dry clear. So if you get some kind of squirting out the outsides, it's okay. But I'm just going to put that on there, and I'm going to put that on that corner, and then just press it down for a minute. I'll kind of try and get some of it that squishes out of the way, but this is incredibly sturdy, so you do not have to worry. It's going to work out just fine. Okay, so then I'm going to get my second one. We'll do that all four. Got to get it the correct direction though, right? Oh my goodness. I'm just kind of pressing it down. I'm gonna make sure I don't have like super excess hanging out here of the glue. But you guys will love this. I mean, this works out so good. Now you could use that E6000 stuff if you want. Again, you could use hot glue if you want. Either way, it's going to work out perfect. Okay, so trust me on this one. I did do a prototype, and I have done this before on multiple other projects. So yeah, gluing metal with art glitter glue works great. Okay, last one. And then we're going to let this set and let it dry so that we can work on the rest of it, and then it'll be nice and dry when it's time to put our box on the base. All right, so I'm just going to press that down again to make sure it's nice and flush. Okay, you can kind of hold that down a little bit, and you'll be surprised how much pressure you can actually put on this. This is quite sturdy, and with that dealy whomper in the middle there, it worked out great. You like my technical terms? I do. The dealy whopper, that guy. Okay, so there is our base all ready to go with our feet. Okay, I'm gonna try and be gentle, but I want to show you what it looks like. Okay, so that's how that's gonna look, and I love this project. I love this project so much. Okay, so I'm gonna set this off to the side and grab our next piece, which is going to be the actual box. So I changed my mind. We're gonna do the lid first. So this is a 10 1/4 by 10 1/4 piece of paper, and we're going to put it in our scoreboard, and we're going to score it on all four sides at 1 1/4 and 2 1/2, 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 1 1/4, 2 1/2, and then again 1 1/4 by 2 1/2. And this way we can add our pattern paper to it without having to make the lid, and then we can make the lid after that's all done. So what we're going to do is do the pinwheel miter thing again, and we're going to cut straight up, And then we're going to, what I'm going to do is, since I'm going to make that a tab, I'm just going to cut it at an angle and just get that over with right now, okay? And I'm going to do that the same way on this side, because that inner square here is what's going to be the tab. We're going to cut these 3 outer ones out. So once I do that, then I can turn it and cut that piece out and cut this piece off, okay? And then you should have a piece that looks like that. We're going to turn it and do it again. So I'm cutting straight up, and I'm cutting kind of trying to cut the score line kind of out. So I'm doing it kind of to the left of the score line, just a hair, just to make sure that score line gets cut out. So then I'm cutting all the way up, making a tab, and then turn it and then cut those squares out. So cut straight up and then cut that off. Okay. Okay. Last one here. And I'm doing a pinwheel. I think I've explained this before, but for those of you, if you haven't seen why I'm doing this or haven't heard why I'm doing this, it's because sometimes I feel like it gives the piece a little bit of strength if you got a tab on each side. And then the other thing too is that you don't have to like fuss with which way your tabs go. You just kind of just keep moving around and doing them, and it works out great. So it's just kind of been my go-to on how I do that. All right, so then fold and burnish everything, and then we will get our pattern papers. So I'm just making sure, and I think I forgot one over there. I forgot 2 of them. You gotta fold them all. You gotta fold them all. Yes, you do. Okay, like so, and then there we go, like so. All right, your little tab here. So you can put pattern paper on this while it's flat, and then you don't have to worry about, you know, fussing with putting pattern paper on a project, you know, while it's created, I guess you could say. Okay, here's our lid. So we're going to go to the inside of our lid first, and I'm going to cover it with my pattern paper. So the lid itself is 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. So I cut the purple paper at 5 1/8 by 5 1/8, and then I cut the green here at 4 7/8 by 4 7/8. So I'm going to put that in there, and I'm not decorating this yet because honestly, to be really frank, I haven't quite decided exactly how I'm going to do it. I've got some ideas, but I want to get this put together first, and then we're going to see where we're at with that. It won't be tonight though. It'll be in the next video when we do all of that stuff. I wanted to get the base kind of construction and the base papers on this project first. And I have got some really fun interactions. And because this box is going to be so big, they're going to be, you know, kind of bigger photo mat opportunities. So I'm pretty excited about that. So like I said, I haven't quite decided. I've got some ideas about the lid, but I haven't quite decided how I'm going to finish it yet. So I'm going to keep this on the plain side for now, and then we'll finish that up later. But I do know that I want this pattern paper down. So the inside, you only cover the square. On the outside, we can cover all of this. And looky what I did. I didn't cut enough paper for the inside of the lid. All right, so for those of you who noticed, I have different papers. I cut these strips for the base instead of the lid. I failed to realize that the lid was actually bigger than the base. So I had to do a reset and redo and cut some different papers, but I kept the same colors. So I cut the strips to cover the sides of the lid. The purple is 5 1/8 by 1 1/8, okay? And then the pink paper that I used to mat that is 7/8 wide by 4 7/8 long. So it gives a little bit more of the purple showing, okay? So these papers are going to actually be the outside of the lid that's going to be showing. So I'm putting those on this side right here, and I'm making sure that my flowers are in the proper direction, okay? So my original plan was that I was going to have the pink match the base with the actual pattern of the base, but yeah, I don't have enough paper to do that now. So we're going to go to a plan B, and we're not going to tell anybody, okay? And it's going to be perfect. We're going to do a little creative work around here. So I did want a little bit of a pattern on there, so I did go with the floral on the outside of the lid. So we're doing that. And I do like the pop of purple. I am digging the purple. All right. Okay, so then these pieces here, hopefully I cut those right. Yep, sure did. Okay, these are going to go to the inside of the lid. So we're going to put these on. Now these have a pattern, but there's not direction. So we don't have to be too worried about that. I'm going to put those on. And then we'll create our lid. And then we'll move to our box, the actual explosion part box that we're going to make. And then I think I will be done for tonight, because obviously I'm not doing a great job. And we'll come back hopefully over the weekend, and we'll finish this up. That'll give you time to get this created. And if you haven't ordered your stuff from Country Craft Creations to make this, so, oh, that's too wide. All right, I gotta trim that down. Good gravy, Michelle. Apparently I need to take a nap or something. Yeah, okay, so I need to trim this one up a little bit. Hang on just a second. Okay. Do that one more time. My goodness, you guys get to see me in all my glory tonight, that's for sure. Yeah, now you know why I edit my videos. Oh my god, I'm cracking myself up. Okay, now real quick before it dries, I'm gonna get the glue off my trimmer, and then we'll get to the next thing. All right, okay. Mercy. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. So we got the outside covered. We have the inside covered, and that's what we need to do. So then you just need to go around and glue the tabs. These go to the inside. I love this method of making the lids because you do not have to fuss with trying to put the pattern paper on when a lid is made. It's all like done all at the same time, right? All right, so I'm just gonna go around, put my glue on. I'm gonna squish that in there a little bit, match my corners up. That's gonna be so pretty. And when this gets all decorated, you guys are gonna love this. You're gonna love it. All right. And do this. And I love art glitter glue. It sticks so well and dries so quickly. It just works out great. Oops, my tab's on the outside, which I didn't want. All right, pop that back in there, and then put the glue on the tab. Okay. I'm making this look way harder than it is. All right, so I'm gonna just go down, just make sure everything's kind of burnished nicely. Make sure the glue is set. Okay, and then, so that's what you have. Then you just take glue on these outer pieces here, like so, and then just fold these down, and they should fit right in there and go right over the tabs, and then your lid is papered with no muss, no fuss. It's super easy. I love this. So if you like explosion boxes like I do, I did a quick video that's on my channel about how to do this and how to do the sizes to use with your explosion scoreboard. So if you want to go check that out, please do. It's on my channel. And this obviously is a bigger lid because we're not using the explosion scoreboard for this project. We're using our regular scoreboard. But I was able to adapt the sizes for that. So it worked out pretty good. And you can use your scoreboard to do it if you want. So your explosion board, that is. All right. So last one here. So then not only do you cover your tabs up and you don't have to fuss with pattern paper while the box is made and all that stuff, but you also get an extra sturdy side to your lid, which I like. So it's a win-win. Win. All right. So there's our lid. Okay. Next thing we're going to do, and hopefully I won't goof this up too much, is the actual box. All right, so we'll get our scoreboard, and because this is an oversized box, you do need a couple different pieces of paper. So you'll need one that's 10 by 10, two that are 10 by 5.5, and one that is 5.5 by 5.5. All right, so we're going to take our 10 by 10 piece. We're going to put it in our scoreboard. We're going to score at 5, turn it, score at 5. Okay, so you're making a box, or you know, making like 4 5 by 5 boxes on this. Okay, now we'll put that off to the side. We'll do the rest of the cutting in a minute. Okay, so you have a piece that is 5.5 by 5.5. You're going to put it in your scoreboard. You're going to score at half, and then turn it and score at half. Okay, so you have a score on just 2 sides only. Okay, then on these 2 pieces, you're going to score these both the same. So on the 10-inch side, we'll score at 5, and then on the 5.5, we'll score at 1/2. Both of them are scored the same. All right, then what we're going to do is we are going to grab our cutter, and we're going to do a little trimming here real quick. And then that way, the triangles that we're going to cut off, if you want to use them for any matting for little pieces or whatever, you'll totally have those and they won't have score lines in them. So I'm just lining up the score lines and I'm cutting off that corner, okay? And then, like I said, you can use this for matting for little embellishments or whatever you want, okay? So we'll do that. On this piece here, we're going to do this bottom corner. So we're going to have the tabs up at the top, and we're going to cut that bottom corner off. I'm just lining up those score lines point to point, and I'm cutting those off, okay? And then we'll do this again, and we're going to do this corner here. And honestly, if you do the other corner, it's fine because the score lines will be fine. If you're using artisan cardstock, it's going to work out just great. Trust me on this one. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is on all of these triangles, we're going to go ahead and do our scores in the center of them, okay? So we need to do that. We're going to put it in our scoreboard, and there's a couple ways we can do this. So first, let's do it this way. This will be easier. So let's miter all of our pieces. So on this here, on the 10-inch side, we're going to miter in the center, and then we're going to miter here. Okay? And the reason why you want to do that before you score is because you can kind of, if you do your scoreboard like mine, you can kind of see where that red line is right at that point, and then you can center it and then score right down the center of that. Okay? So the second one, we'll go ahead and do the same thing. We'll miter, 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 and then miter this one. Okay? And then we'll go ahead and line that up and find that red right at the point there and score that. Okay? This guy here, this one I'm just going to miter the corner off, and you can put it in here, line up that point, miter. Okay, then on our 10-inch piece down here, we didn't cut this one. Let's cut this one real quick. I've got to cut one of the corners off. So I'm just lining up those scores again. Keeping that triangle just in case. And then this one is going to be a little bit harder. Okay, so this one's a little bit harder to do because you can't miter that point, okay? But what you can do is put this guy back in here and look at the measurements. So the points land at 2.5 this way and at 9.5 this way. So if you put that in your scoreboard and line up those 2 points and make sure they're right in the center, you should be good to go and score down the middle. Now the other thing you can do is take, if you have one of your spacers that has the right angle to it, you can put that down and kind of line it up with your center and your point and find the center that way. That's another good way of doing it. So those are just 2 options there, okay? So then once you have all of that done, we've got all 4 of our pieces done. Let's get this stuff out of the way. Then fold and burnish. So we're going to fold this over, and you want to make sure it's as straight as you possibly can get it. Okay. Okay. And then when you get to this corner piece, what you want to do is fold that down and then fold your corner back and then line up your sides. Look at the side over here on the right and make sure that it's lined up. And then I finger press it, and then I go back in with my bone folder to make that corner for my piece. Okay, so then that goes off to the side. Let's grab this piece here. So this one, it'll fold back on itself, okay, and then you have your tabs. So the tabs will go the other direction. Okay. I'll do the other one. Okay, so that's your other corner piece that'll actually fold in like this. It'll go in this corner. And then you have these 2 pieces. So we'll fold that in half. And we're just going to line that up. Okay, and then we'll line this back. And we're going to just make sure everything is matching. And then we have our tabs. Okay. Okay. So there's another corner for you. And then we got one more to go. And we'll make sure that everything is lined up. I'm going to fold that back, and I'm going to make sure that everything lines up nice. Okay. And now Artisan, if you end up folding this and need to like refold it the opposite direction, you should have no problem with this. Artisan works really, really well with folding back and forth and stuff. I really love it. So it works out really good. So we have a corner. We're going to have our base. We're going to have this corner here. It's going to attach here. Okay. Then we have this corner here. which is folded the opposite. So I'm going to show you how to do that. You just refold it, put it the direction you want it to go, and it works out great because it's artisan. And I swear this is the best cardstock in the history of cardstock history. Okay, so you want the corner here, okay, and then this corner will go up here. So we're just going to basically glue all of these tabs together and create this piece, okay? So let's start with the base here. We'll go ahead and glue these tabs here. And so I'm just going to put glue here, maybe, if I can get it right. And then I'm just going to match the edges. And I'm doing one at a time so I can kind of really try to make sure I get this nice and straight. Okay. Don't worry about that glue. We're going to cover everything with pattern paper. Then you have this piece here. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put glue on this tab. Yeah, I think after we get this done, I'm going to have to quit for tonight because obviously I'm way too tired. And it is evening time and I'm fried. I've been busy all day. So we'll come back and we'll finish it. But that'll give you time to finish this up. Okay. So we have the two sides to our box right now. And we're going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to glue it down. And I hope this makes sense. If you have any questions, please let me know. So, yeah, if you have any questions, I am more than happy to help. I love to help. I will answer anything. And if I got really confusing, which I know I can do, I do want to help you because I want you to be successful. But I can't read minds, so you have to ask. And you have to let me know what's going on. Okay? And I know I'm kind of goofy sometimes, and that's just me. That's just me. But yeah, please let me know. Please let me know because I can't help if I don't know. Okay? And then if you love this project, let me know because, I'd like to know that too. See if I'm on the right track here. Okay, so you can see we've got 3 of the pieces and we're creating that box. Okay, so last piece here, we just got to glue that corner in and then we're good to go. And then here's, let's see, there's that. Try and get that right to the edge. There we go. And the last piece here, okay, that last little 1/2-inch tab. Okay, I'm gonna fold that over, match up those edges. And that is how you make an explosion box with 5x5 sides. Okay? Ta-da! Okay, so now I have my pattern paper. So for the insides, I have my pieces ready to go. So we're going to put that here, 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 and here. And then I think I'm going to use the solid on the bottom again, so that will look like the bottom of our base, okay? So I'm going to do that, and then I have my pattern papers for the outside, and you only need 4 of these because you don't want to cover the bottom. That's going to get glued to the base. So I, again, did the purple, and I used that as a mat, and that is the Graphic 45 solids. And I cut these at 4 7/8 by 4 7/8, and then the pattern paper I put on the top is 4 5/8 by 4 5/8. These are all 4 7/8 by 4 7/8. So I'm going to glue these on. These are going to go on the outside. Those are the sides of the box. And then I'll come back. I'll show you about the corners, and then we will go ahead and put that on the base. So I'll be back in just a second. So I've already done 2 of the triangles, and I'm going to show you how to do the other 2. You just need 2 pieces of paper that are 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. When I'm doing my boxes, You know, I usually for the squares do an 1/8 inch smaller than the piece that I'm covering. So if the square is 5 by 5, the pattern paper will be 4 7/8 by 4 7/8. But when you get to the corners, because you have to cut this, you need to make them at 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, because then that gives you that little extra room so that you have the matting there. So when you do this, I'm going to just put it in my cutter. I'm going to cut my 4 3/4 by 4 3/4 pattern paper into my triangle. And then I'm going to cut those into, again, 2 triangles. And then those will mat those inner triangles. Now you don't need to mat the outer ones because they are not going to be seen. When the box is closed, they're all, you know, inside. So these are the only ones on the inside of the box that are actually going to show. Okay. So then you just take your pieces and glue them down, and you should have the perfect matting for these. Now you do have to be careful if you're using a pattern paper with a direction, because what you'll end up needing to do is watching how you cut them. So for example, this piece here would have to go up here. Does that make sense? Oh, that makes sense. So just watch your papers. If you use solids, then it's no big deal. You don't have to worry about it. And that's one of the reasons why I did use a solid. But also because I liked the contrast of the color too. So anyway, you do have to watch that, but it can be done even if it's directional with 2 pieces of paper. You just have to put them kind of in opposite corners and watch how you cut your diagonal. Okay. So I'm going to glue these down, and then we're going to put this on the base, and then we will be done for tonight. And then I will come back and we're going to make all of the really cool, fun stuff that go inside of this. And I just cannot wait to show you what that's going to look like. Okay. So I'm just putting glue on here. And you see how that, it just giving it that extra, you know, taking off that extra 1/8 of an inch really makes all the difference in the world when you're doing a triangle, because it does give you that extra mat space that you need. Because otherwise, if you do it the same square size as the other ones, then you don't have enough of the black cardstock showing through. And the other thing too I was going to explain is that I was going to use white. I was thinking about using white, and then I decided not to because I really thought that the black made the colors pop. Okay, so here is our box. When it folds up, it's going to, put that in the right way, look like that on the inside, and then it'll be like that on the outside. Okay. All right. So now what we need to do is grab the lid and grab our base. Okay. So we have our base here. We have our lid. So I'm going to use my lid to help kind of contain this while we do this part. Okay. So what we're going to do is glue that right on to the base. All right. So the lid, again, will help hold everything together so we can do this. And the lid, or excuse me, the box and the base are the same size, so it's just going to fit flush. And I'm just going to put my glue on here. And I'm going to set that on the base and line up the sides and press that down. And that is how we're going to do that. Then you can turn it, you can adjust it a little bit. The art glitter glue will give you a second to go ahead and make sure everything's nice and flush. And it looks like I did it. So I'm just going to kind of hold this down just a sec. And then I'll open it up and I'll kind of press it from the inside. And I just kind of want to make sure it doesn't shift. Okay, so then I'm going to open that up and I'm going to give this kind of a burnish on the inside. just to make sure it squishes down and sets to that base. And get little glue bits everywhere while I'm at it. All right, so that should be good to go. Then we can just leave this sit and let it dry, and then we can come back and do the rest of this in the second part of our tutorial. So check it out. I love how that looks. I'm a little sad that I didn't get the same paper because I cut it wrong for the lid, but you know what? I think that looks really good. I think I like it. So there you go. Part 1 of the tutorial, making the base, the actual explosion box, and our lid. So we'll come back next time and we will work on the fun stuff that go on the inside. So thank you so much for watching. And I can't wait to show you what's going to go on the inside. You guys are going to love this. This is not finished. We have more to do. So thank you for watching. Have a great evening, and I will see you really soon, and we'll finish this up. Thanks. Bye-bye.